Time being 6:04 p.m., I call to order the Franklin School Committee meeting. Meetings are recorded by Franklin TV and shown on Comcast Channel 9 and Verizon Channel 29, as well as recorded by Franklin Matters. All right, so we'll start off with the Pledge of Allegiance. The Franklin Middle School is honored to have Landon Kajowski, Jessica Hillcoat, Mason Donovan, and Joey Vitor, members of our unified basketball team, serve as our student representatives to lead the Pledge of Allegiance this evening. Come on up, guys, and go ahead and adjust the microphone so it works for everybody. Unified basketball is a program through the MIAA and Special Olympics that bring together students with and without intellectual disabilities to compete on the same team. The program is designed to foster friendships, build confidence, and strengthen social connections through shared experience of athletics in an inclusive environment. At Franklin Middle School, we are proud to support unified basketball and currently have 2 teams, blue and white, representing our school and community. The program is open to all middle school students and reflects the inclusive spirit and strong sense of community that we value in Franklin. Please join me in welcoming the students.
Okay, ready? Ready, set, go.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
We did it!
Good job. Someone's got a lot of energy. What are you doing? All right. This guy, I'm trying to give you a high five. Come on. Okay, never mind.
And then we're going to hold a moment of silence as is customary. Thank you. Thank you all. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Bye, Lyndon.
Bye.
Bye, Lyndon.
Bye.
So, routine business, review of agenda. Does the agenda look good to everyone? Excellent. Payment of bills, Callahan, in order. Payroll, me, that's also in order. FHS student reps.
Good evening, my name is Siobhan Dev and I'm the Vice President,
And my name is Callie and I'm the president.
and we represent the junior class. So currently in the whole school, we have a can drive going on March 20th and the 27th. The chorus and the orchestra have a concert on March 17th. The band has a concert on March 19th. The chamber has a concert on April 7th. Franklin High School will be participating in DECA's state conference and sending 105 students this Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. Mock Trial has their Elite 8 trial tomorrow at the Melotti Courthouse in Boston. Regarding sports, cheer are now the state champions of Massachusetts. Girls track are Hawk champions and participated in New England and are going to participate at New Balance Nationals on March 12th and 13th. And spring sports registration is now open.
For the class of 2026, graduation is June 5th. The senior banquet is April 10th at Lake Pearl, and tickets have to be purchased by March 18th. The class of 2027 just recently had a fundraiser for prom, and it was a success. You can now buy tickets, which are $150. And they also just presented the lifelong learning program for the summer with Common App Bootcamp and help to write your college essays. For the class of 2028, MCAS is March 24th and 25th for English, and Math MCAS is May 19th and 20th. And lastly, for the class of 2029, they have their Science MCAS June 2nd and 3rd.
Excellent, thank you very much. Any questions or comments?
Congrats to the cheerleaders again. And the track.
Reese? All right. All set. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Oh, here. Thank you. Good luck tomorrow. Try.
Thank you.
I'm getting up a horse and I'm leaving.
And then we have the superintendent's report.
Thank you. Good evening, everyone. I'd like to start, I have 5 announcements, but I'd like to start with one, which is our student recognition this month, or this meeting. And Chloe, could you please just come up and just stand to be recognized as I read a little bit about why Chloe is here. So I'd like to recognize Franklin High School sophomore Chloe Bowser for an outstanding academic and civic achievement. She was recently selected as one of 12 statewide winners for the USS Massachusetts Historic Essay Contest. And as part of this honor, her essay will be published in the official commissioning book for the USS Massachusetts. And she will be recognized at the submarine's commissioning ceremony on March 28th in Boston Harbor. So these rotate, they're not always in Boston. This one is, and it's a tremendous honor and a tremendous accomplishment. So in addition to winning, each winning student's hometown will be permanently represented aboard the submarine. So for example, in the berthing area, there'll be a sign that says entering the town of Franklin as you enter that berthing area. And the sign will be installed on one of the vessel's berthing rooms, along with a commemorative plaque recognizing Chloe, our school, and our hometown. So Chloe is just demonstrating strong civic leadership through her involvement not only in this contest, she's also continually working as our Project 351 ambassador, which some of you are familiar with that program, where we nominate an 8th grader. When Chloe was in 8th grade, she was selected out of the 8th grade class as the representative for Franklin as one of the 351 communities in the state. And you stay on as she's the 2024 selection, and she stays on throughout her time at Franklin High School after they graduate from 8th grade, 9th grade, 10th grade. So she continues to represent Franklin. And along with her Franklin Middle School ambassador, she's recently organized a winter coat drive, collected jackets in support of the Franklin students and families in need. It's just one example of the work that they're doing. Chloe's accomplishments reflect the spirit of service, leadership, and scholarship that we strive to develop in our students through our Portrait of a Graduate. And we're very proud of her and how she has represented Franklin in so many different capacities. So if we could just take a moment in congratulating Chloe for some outstanding achievements and accomplishments. And I'll just say the support, I think, from her family that I would just recognize. We have her father and her mother here tonight. Major Travis Bowser is here, United States Marine Corps fellow Marine, and Allie Bowser. What's that? Who are just tremendous supportive families of the Franklin Public Schools. Allie does a lot of volunteer work in her capacity to help with all of our PCCs and a lot of the work behind the scenes that doesn't always get seen. So it's no surprise to me that she's here, their daughter's being recognized, and I just wanted to acknowledge you both for the support to Franklin Public Schools and to helping raise such an outstanding young person, and we're proud of. So thank you for that as well.
Thank you.
So March 28th, there will be a commissioning. There'll be more of that ceremony. I'm sure I can follow up with some details on how that goes, but ultimately wanted to take a moment for you as a school committee to have the chance to acknowledge and just recognize Chloe and her accomplishments. So thank you.
Quick question.
Yeah, if we
Would
just
you
have
pause?
quick comments from folks.
I haven't read the essay. Is it maybe I missed it, but I've been talking about you, and I want to read the essay. Just excited about that. Is it published somewhere that I can?
I don't think that is published
Share
anywhere,
it.
but I was actually going to share it, which I was actually going to email tonight when I get home.
That's great. That's all I was. Thank you. Congratulations.
Thank you so much.
Anyone else?
Yeah, congratulations, Chloe. This is amazing work. Thank you.
Thank you, and thank you so much for letting me be here tonight. It's an honor.
Dave, do you want to?
Yeah, it just, Chloe, this is absolutely fantastic. It's an honor for you to be here. It's an honor for us to be able to recognize you. It's such a source of pride for this entire community. I don't know if you had heard, but at the town council meeting just last week, every single member was talking about you. It's such a bright spot that was kind of happening in the town of Franklin. So thank you so much.
Well, thank you. It's an honor to be talked about, I guess.
I think it's something really big, understanding all that permanent recognition and kind of the responsibility. That's something we as a town, everyone gets to brag about it, but we didn't do anything. So I think that's really the great part of this is that's definitely gonna be an honor that you get to really cherish for an extended period of time. I know, I was actually glad that Lucas brought up your family too. We always say it, it's really a team effort. There's a lot that goes into, what we're able to provide, but really it's the parents at home also providing a really fantastic environment, that kind of support. So really, all three of you, thank you so much for all the efforts. I'm really glad that you were able to receive the recognition for all that time you put in. And on behalf of Franklin, for us not having to do anything and thank you. We appreciate it.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you.
Awesome.
So I have continue with my announcements.
Please do.
Okay. So next, I wanted to just draw folks' attention to a segment of our website called News You Can Use. So did you know that Franklin Public Schools maintains a News You Can Use page where families can find information about community programs, activities, local opportunities for children and families? These listings are shared as a resource. They are often not necessarily affiliated with the Franklin Public Schools, but they are private businesses or different camps, different offerings that exist that we put in a folder for people to go to and access. So it's a wide variety of resources to explore. And if you go to the Franklin Public Schools page, you can search News You Can Use, or you can find it in, I believe it's in the About Us section. I will double check.
Community.
It's in the community. Thank you. Oh, thank you. Appreciate that. So that is on our website, and I think it's a good resource. We continually update it. Mrs. Miller, I approve what goes in the folder, but ultimately, whenever I receive information, we try to put in what we think is relevant to the Franklin families, what would be relevant and accessible for students. So that's where that information can be found. Next, I shared some budget materials that were from the regional legislative advocacy group that we had all the superintendents in our area met and invited all of our elected officials to attend a legislative forum. It was a breakfast held in the Newton Town Hall. And basically the presentation highlighted several statewide trends and impacts to district budgets, particularly rapid growth in special education costs, transportation expenses, charter tuition assessments. Importantly, many districts are experiencing rising costs and even enrollment, even if it remains stable, meaning the financial pressures being driven primarily by the cost of services rather than the number of students served. The materials also outline several legislative priorities for FY25 aimed at stabilizing school funding. These include strengthening the special education circuit breaker reimbursement, addressing limitations to Chapter 70 inflation in the formula, maintaining minimum aid for districts, and improving transportation reimbursement, and possibly exploring comprehensive review of the state's school funding framework. And while Franklin continues to manage its own budget with local challenges, these materials make clear that many districts across the Commonwealth are facing structural funding pressures. I thought it would be helpful to share this with the broader regional perspective with the school committee. These materials are also public documents that I can put out somewhere on our budget webpage as well, just as information for ongoing discussion with our community. And I'll move on to spring conferences are currently happening for families and students, grades K through 8. And the early release days, one was today, tomorrow is the second on March 11th. And please, we did send communication on that, and those are currently happening, so I want to update. Final 2 announcements. I'd like to share that the Franklin Public Schools has convened an internal AI district committee to begin developing guidance and guiding principles for the responsible use of artificial intelligence across schools. This group will explore how AI can support teaching, learning, and operations while also ensuring the appropriate guardrails around ethics, safety, and academic integrity. As part of this process, the community can expect to receive a survey prior to April break to gather feedback from students, families, and educators. This input will help inform the district's approach as we work thoughtfully to integrate emerging technologies that are currently existing within our educational environment. And finally, just a shout out to the jazz band that held their jazz concert. I know Mr. Charles was sitting directly behind me during the concert, and Chloe was referenced 3 or 4 times as a soloist. She's everywhere. But ultimately, it was a cafe style jazz cafe, and I thought the middle school and the high school jazz bands did a phenomenal job. The music was really well done. And this is all in context to the snow days we've had too, so some of the disruption to the day, they performed as though you wouldn't have known they had snow, missing class because of snow and whatnot. So just a shout out to the students, and also Nicole Wright, Leanne Rudsit, and Diane Pluff, all who are teachers and leaders within our music program. So it was really well done. So this completes my report. Thank you for listening, and I'm happy to answer any questions.
Thank you very much. Any questions from the committee?
I don't have any questions, but regarding the slide deck you sent out, thank you for that, by the way. I thought it was really informative. It was great to see that broader perspective and get insight into kind of what everyone's facing collectively. I wanted to call out specifically a few bills that are mentioned in the slide decks for people who enjoy writing their state reps and in support of things. S2864 and H691 are regarding circuit breaker reform, which would plan to increase that reimbursement to 90%. And there are also bills regarding funding rural aid, which are S2870 and H517. And finally, the superintendent's, is it superintendent? I know it's Massachusetts Association of School Superintendents also encourages support of the Healy-Driscoll framework. So I wanted to get that info out there for people who want to look into the specifics of those bills. And if you are so inclined to support, then you can write your reps. Thanks.
I echo the same comments. I think it would be a great idea to put it out publicly so that the community can view those reports as well.
Just one thing on the AI committee, internal AI committee. So can we get some presentation, or is there a plan for a presentation?
Yes, so the process is for the team to work. Dr. Rogers is leading that committee. Getting feedback from families is one piece, gathering feedback from students and educators. That team will then make recommendations of what the plan will be, and then our goal will be to present that out more publicly to the team. So yes, as soon as I don't know when yet. I know there's a lot that they have to still do. They're in the ground, kind of setting the ground. That's where the survey comes in. But ultimately, they have met at least once and twice, and they will continue to meet throughout this school year, and we'll continue to make our plans for the future.
So just trying to understand, is it on the application side, or is it on the educating AI side? Like, I'm just trying to understand, using AI, improving the teaching methods, or introducing AI to our students? I'm just trying to understand that.
So I think that AI is definitely it's infiltrated our society in many ways. I think, I won't speak for you, but I do know one of the major pieces around guardrails and how it's used and what's appropriate and how are we managing. I think it's something that's existing now. To say like we're banning it is not really realistic. I don't think that you're saying that, but the idea is to try to create some guardrails around its use and then look at the broader framework and picture. And I think it's come up a few ways. We've heard about AI. I'm thinking about Mr. Hansen just way back when you were running, and you made some comments that I think this is a very broad topic, but we're trying to think of how do we look at our acceptable use and fit that. Do you want to
I can build on that a little bit. I think what you can expect from us is we will be surveying the community, to students included, staff included, families, to unearth what are people's beliefs. How do people feel about AI? And ultimately what we'd like to share with you all before the end of the year are what are our guiding principles. So foundationally, we're saying humans are first before AI. We have some framework of our thinking based on what the Department of Education has put out there for guidance as well. We've attended conferences, collected data, information, things like that. So the goal is to provide guidance around what does this look like for acceptable use for students, for staff? How do we educate students? How do we educate staff? Because it's here. And I think turning a blind eye to it is doing a disservice to our teachers, to our students, to our families. So I think just at the core of it, it is really eliciting that feedback in this initial phase from, a few weeks, months ago to the end of year to say phase one, we want to have those core principles established, and then some guidance, guardrails, to Mr. Giguere's point, as we enter into next year to then continue with committee and parental or family interaction and continued support in that process.
Because it's an interesting topic, so just want to let you know, right? Maybe we should consider some kind of a subcommittee to join with them, because that will be from being from the ID background, we can bring in some consulting and then help the administrative team who's working on it. So just my thought, we can work on those things so that we can get some additional insights on from the actual application work.
If I may, we will in the community survey kind of elicit how could folks contribute in ways, because I do think that we have an immense resource in our families and the community that are invested in this work, that are probably light years ahead of where I am, but certainly to, are there opportunities to integrate those perspectives, be it school committee or our families, in the work as we progress into next year. So, yeah.
Thank you.
Appreciate all the updates, especially with that legislative update as well. I really love just because the whole community is kind of mentioned. Thank you again. Congratulations. Just the notion of all of the problems that we've been talking about now for Alan, for 5 years, and everybody else here for many more years. It's more than just a Franklin problem. The way that the Massachusetts allocates funds for education, and the way that a lot of costs, especially transportation, special education, just continue to drastically climb higher than what a 2.5% increase can be, really kind of highlights the fact that it's not just Franklin. This is all across every, the other 350 communities around the Commonwealth. And I think the more information we can kind of get that out there as we share that to the community, hopefully you might be able to kind of just continue to break through that wall and really kind of see this is a big issue. Recently, so we kind of mentioned the legislative items that were kind of brought up. I know our own Senator Rebecca Rausch, I believe, kind of co-sponsored as part of a lot of those packages in the bill, along with my Framingham State buddy, Jake Oliveira. Now, Senator Oliveira is one of the authors of one of those too. And so yeah, for folks that are interested to kind of dive into the text of that, take a look at that, and if you're feeling like it's moving the schools in the right direction, reach out to those senators, the elected officials, and be able to kind of write your support for a lot of these great bills that hopefully might be able to kind of help give back and make some of the budgetary constraints that we've been living in a little bit easier as we move forward. Thank you.
Thank you. I think everyone else has covered it pretty well. On the AI discussion, I think that's definitely something we'll explore further as to how we can best solicit both kind of very purposeful community input, and also be able to provide support. So we'll definitely be evaluating that and see what we can do. And again, the updates, as Dave very well highlighted, the community that is experiencing challenges when it comes to the overall budget, it's something that is not unique to us, but it doesn't mean that we should really tune it out. I think Franklin is really trying to be very purposeful in the approach that we have. I do know that we've had discussions around a joint budget subcommittee with our colleagues over in Town Council and FinCom. I've actually had an opportunity to speak to the chair of the budget subcommittee from Town Council and set up some time. So for those who like scheduling things out, the news first, we're looking at something around the 18th of April. So that'll have everyone in the room from FinCom, budget, or FinCom, Town Council, and school committee budget subcommittees. Great place for information. I think one of the big focal points is going to be really what the story is, instead of just saying, hey, here's one number, here's the next number, here's where it works and doesn't, but really looking at kind of the broader picture and what we can actually look to do about it in the future. So do April 16th, I apologize. Please do tune in and definitely make sure that you're reaching out to us with any questions you have. We're looking to do this as an informative event for, for the community. So just felt it was a great plug, kind of following along the broader budget discussions. But that's all I have. Thank you. So discussion action items, we have none for tonight. Discussion only items, we have a monthly financial report.
So the report has been included in your packet. If you have any questions, we're happy to answer it. This is part of, this is the last time I'll say this, this is part of your monthly meeting where we are providing those documents for you at one of the meetings per month in the school committee as a way to just continue to keep you informed and educated, and it's also in the packet.
Any questions?
Is interest earned on funds in the revolving accounts?
No, just, I believe, food services department, because it's a revolving fund that's set up differently from the other school revolving funds, so we do not earn interest, no.
Okay. Thanks.
All right. So seeing no further questions, I'll move on to information matters. So school committee subcommittee reports and liaison reports. So superintendent evaluation, as I mentioned last time, we're starting to set up plans for this. We'll be organizing meetings with the team. Budget, as I mentioned, we're looking to schedule the joint budget subcommittee meeting for April 16th. We'll be looking to have a conversation on the side just with the school budget subcommittee sometime in the next month. So we'll be looking to get that scheduled, let everyone know as to the timing on that. For policy, Callahan?
Yeah, so we met last Friday, and we had a lot of great discussions. There'll be stuff kind of coming down the pipeline, talking about change in facility fee kind of structure, the possibility of opening up a lot of the use of our buildings for-profit, just as revenue generators. And then also there's so much work done by Colin and Josie. Really want to thank you guys so much. And can I remember, Josie, her exact title?
I don't think that's remembered the whole title.
It's the operations assistance and data specialist position.
And
I came up with it. Just kidding. I'll probably get corrected on this publicly, but yeah, it's a long title, but she does operations and also does the state reporting and the data collection for that requirement that we have for state reporting. So that's part of her role.
And she's mentions the policy, but worth every character on that title. You guys did fantastic work, and so I'm really excited about what we're going to do moving forward. And at this moment, no meeting set. We're just trying to figure out the meeting cadence. So that's what we got. Oh, and actually, I apologize. We also had some great discussion about the championship signage. I don't know, I can speak to it, or Lucas, if you want to.
It's up to you.
Starting with our January meeting, I know there's been a lot of discussion. I remember back when Camille was kind of talking about it 5 years ago. But basically, when students reach a certain threshold, a lot of times it's around sports and they win the state championship, how are those kids recognized? Because I know there's a couple of signs, like right off of 495, but that also introduces a lot of problems. That's through the state owns the highways, so then we're kind of petitioning through the state to try to figure out what to do. And so started the conversation back in January, then Lucas gave some amazing updates about some possible ideas.
I'm happy to fill in. So this is a good example of some town and school collaboration. So we had some of our booster organizations reach out about this. State land and how you get signs updated is very, it takes time. So there was a joint consensus from town administration, DPW, schools around using town land to look at highlighting state-sanctioned team wins. So when I think about our performing arts, like our theater, who made it very far into their championship round, when I think about our athletic teams, when we think about our unified sports that won gold medal, there's a bunch of different state-sanctioned team events that are recognized. Often those are the same groups that we invite into school committee to be recognized. So there is a push and an effort here to have a self-funded project that doesn't come from the school's operating budget to raise funds through contributions through booster organizations and some fundraising opportunities to get one state championship sign, welcome to Panther Day, whatever it will be, near when you're coming from the police station down Panther Way to the right in front of the tennis courts, having some signage that represents the state championship. So we're doing some background work of how many state championships have been won. We can't have a 40-foot sign. We're fortunate Franklin had one, but ultimately try to look at how can we create something that's lasting, representative, classy, and really represents the students that have earned over the years that opportunity. And then it would create the mechanism, and we wouldn't be in this continual cycle of, we have a few state champions that don't have any signage right now, and it's constantly like, how do we come up with a mechanism that has a way to honor the past, address some of the more immediate needs that are current, but then also have a future to it. So policies being worked on will go to the subcommittee, and then ultimately the policy, the decisions will lie ultimately with the school committee around some of the decisions that will need to be made and votes. But ultimately, we're doing the groundwork to make that happen. And I want to credit some of our booster organizations that have been involved. There'll be a presentation on this in the future, but ultimately, some work's happening in the background that we're excited to engage in.
Well, you're still up, the Horseman Legacy Subcommittee.
All right, so we had our kickoff meeting 2 weeks ago, and it was absolutely fantastic. It's such a great eclectic group of folks from all around Franklin, as we're really kind of figuring out what are we looking to do. And so a lot of the big kind of key ideas they kind of talked about, almost having like a drip campaign, talking about the year of Horace Mann. As we look to kind of just educate the overall kind of community about Horace Mann, what he advocated for, and just like the story that he was telling. And then also kind of leading back to the Horace Mann campus that was kind of voted on in last term as well. What will that look like, and how will that kind of be presented back and recommended in a recommendation to the overall school committee as we kind of move forward. And we're working on figuring out in the next, actually, our overall kind of meeting cadence will be. And but I do also want to say we kicked off with, we had sugar drop cookies. So we found a cookie recipe that Mrs. Horace Mann wrote up in a cookbook published pre-Civil War. And Mrs. Callahan baked the cookies, and it was fantastic. So more to come with the Horace Mann Legacy team.
Can I save the date, May 4th? This is very important. We're having a birthday party. It's going to be, is it the 3rd or the 4th?
His birthday party, his birthday, Horace Mann, is May 4th. And then I believe the Historical Museum will be throwing a party for him on that Sunday, May 3rd. They will kind of publish more out, but yeah, I believe it's going to be May 3rd.
And we're going to really hype that up and make it really, really fun. So it's going to be a big, big deal. So anyway, go ahead.
Great. All right, joint PCC, Nadia.
Yes, we met last Wednesday, March 4th. Now that the field of planning is complete, the PCCs are planning year-end events and teacher appreciation. Planning is underway at all the schools. A few things to note. At ECDC, they had their book fair at Pond Street this year, and it was a huge success. They highlighted that it was one of their most successful fundraisers. So that was great to hear. At Lincoln Street, there's a K through 2 pizza night this Thursday, and they're also having their book fair over the next 2 weeks. K through 2 is the 9th through the 13th, and 3 through 5 is the 16th to the 20th. Again, Bag Bingo will be a joint event with Lincoln Street and Washington Street. That's scheduled for May 15th. It'll be at Dean College this year. Tickets are $60 each, and they will go on sale for $8. There is also a downtown sports night on April 11th from 6 to 8:30. at Washington Street. There were a couple of reassignments for the leadership team due to some commitment changes on the members, so that's all been worked out. There's a Red Sox Day planned for May 8th. There's 300 tickets reserved, and they're on sale now. They just completed their 3rd can drive of the year. There's a parent night out scheduled. The date is still to be announced. That's at La Cantina in downtown Sports. They're also participating in a collaborative with Creative Corner Art during the months of March and April. If families register, $10 goes to the PCC. They're also planning a cornhole tournament as a 5th grade fundraiser. At the middle school, the Kindness Club is hosting a food drive to support the Franklin Food Pantries. Donations can be brought to advisory homerooms from March 2nd to 23rd. The 6th grade is donating cleaning supplies, personal care items, and the 7th and 8th, canned goods, crackers, hot cocoa, pantry items. There's also a book fair going on this week and next at the middle school. A Butter Braids fundraiser is currently underway until March 30th. There's a Santa Fe fundraiser March 19th. And the 8th grade is also doing end of year planning. Finally, we wrapped up the meeting with a great discussion on field trip planning, objectives, and process for next year. And our next meeting is May 6th.
Thank you. Community Relations, Al?
Yep. So our last newsletter went out on the 5th of March, last Thursday. We do have a couple kind of in-person events. We're partnering with Steve Sherlock and Franklin Matters regarding the Q&A session, and then also the in-person at the Senior Center. We do have a school committee event. Office hours is on the book fair on the which day?
March 19th. It'll be alongside of the Lincoln Book Fair. Between 5:30 to 7.
And one of the things that we're trying to do this year is have the quarterly in-person events, so that's one for families to go to. We do also have our next newsletter coming out on the 2nd of April, and it will begin our strawberry stroll planning. So we sent you all the invites. June 12th or the 13th is the rain date. So more to come.
Fantastic, thank you. And then SWAC and mental health, Reese?
Yeah, no updates. Student Wellness Advisory Committee is meeting next week on the 17th, and Mental Health Task Force 12 hours from now. So
See you at 12.
Yes, in the morning. So that's it.
Sounds great, thank you. All right. So with those updates aside, we'll move on to the consent agenda. Lucas?
Okay. I recommend approval of the minutes from your February 24th, 2026 school committee meeting as detailed. I recommend the acceptance of $5,096 from the Washington Street K-2 PCC for field trips as detailed.
Is there a motion to approve the consent agenda as detailed?
So moved.
Is there a second?
A second.
All right, any discussion or questions? Seeing none, vote will come on the motion. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. So being the first meeting of the month, we'll go through good of the order. Anyone have any comments about ways of running things, suggestions, modifications?
Yeah, one, just want to say, I'm so glad to hear about the joint budget subcommittee. Kind of going, informing, that's always fantastic and informative. We also, is it a joint meeting that we're going to have next Wednesday, the 18th?
Okay. Yes, thank you for calling that out. So we do have, the town council has a regularly posted meeting for next week. We'll be joining them because the topic will be schools. So I think Lucas might have some.
Sure, so it was in my new business, but I would mention, just reiterate, March 18th, 6 p.m. start. It's a regular scheduled town council meeting. It will be also a special school committee meeting so that all of our school committee can attend as well. And as Dr. Griffin said, it's a joint meeting we're having 2 representatives from the Department of Elementary and Secondary Ed who will present on Chapter 70 funding. I think it's going to be really informative. Ms. Melotti explored this opportunity, coordinated it, and I just learned recently that they're going to actually plug in Franklin information as part of their presentation, so it's not just the hypothetical, but also we'll have components of it that are actually from our town and some of the data that they'll use. So I don't want to over-promise. I haven't seen anything, but I do know that they did state that, correct, Ms. Moore?
Yes, they did. So they are going, they do these kind of presentations throughout professional developments that we all attend. And they use certain towns. Since they are coming directly to Franklin, they will use Franklin in their example, in their presentation.
So it'll be a Chapter 70 overview, and then there'll be an opportunity after that part of the presentation where we'll have an opportunity for, what's that? Q&A. Yep, Q&A with them, and then an opportunity for school committee and town council, since it's a posted meeting, to have an opportunity to engage in dialogue together, either on the outcome of the Chapter 70 or any other information that's deemed suitable for that night to continue to try to build partnerships and work together to fund our town and schools.
Wonderful. That's fantastic to hear. Thank you, guys.
Awesome.
Yes, just I would like to thank the administrative team, and I think Lucas is being a popular image in the Facebook now with the shoveling pictures that went viral.
Shoveling pictures.
Oh. So I mean, I'm really glad to see all of you on the ground working on clearing the snows, and we hardly had 2 days of school disruption, but I've seen some school districts had like more than 3 days and sometimes a week as well. But as a community, we worked together, and then we were able to get everything in operations within a couple of days and got back to work. Thank you for all your support, and thank you to the DPW for excellent coordination on getting the work done, and even the trash pickup. There might be some delays, but they were able to get everything set up within that same week and up and running. Thank you all for your relentless effort. Thank you.
And then they turned on the heater, and now all of a sudden. Excellent. All right. So now we're going to move on to citizens' comments. Are there any citizens in the audience, in person or online, who would like to comment on an item that falls within the committee's purview? If you're online, feel free to raise your hand. If you're in the audience, feel free to step up to either microphones.
Steve Sherlock, 13 Magnolia Drive, Community Information Director for Franklin Matters, Franklin Public Radio. Not to make it a regular thing, but I do have a couple of public service announcements. One to reinforce the March 18th, 11 a.m. It's available in person at the Senior Center. It's a monthly Q&A and conversation, so I appreciate your participation. I look forward to it. Any other community is also able to participate. There's a form already on a Facebook event page. It'll be shared out through Franklin Matters as well, so you can get the Zoom link to join. Obviously, I don't make that too public because, just what it is. The other piece in regards to some of the radio shows coming up, so Town Administrator Jamie Helen and I had a chance to talk last week. That's on the radio tomorrow, 8 a.m., 1 p.m., and 6 p.m., 102.9. Always can remember that. You can go to Franklin Matters as well and find the actual audio, so you can listen to it on your own time. The next Thursday, same timing, is a Board of Health meeting. So if you've never had a chance to go to a Board of Health meeting, the audio, about 45 minutes. They do short meetings, which is good, because they start at 5 o'clock, so I get to do that, record it, and then get to town council immediately to do their longer session. And then Friday, I forgot already, Friday. But stay tuned, good radio coming, and Q&A as well at both remote and in person at the Senior Center. Thank you.
Thank you. All right. Seeing no one else with comments, new business?
For new business, We mentioned the March 18th meeting. We will also continue our work. We're going to start hitting that time of the year where we'll start to continue with some of the department overviews, but ultimately get into some of the goal updates on the school improvement and district improvement goals that will happen this year. One thing that we will be doing, the school committee meetings that we have left between now and June, our team is taking a pass at just checking to make sure that we are pacing ourselves so we don't have short meetings with really long ones to overstack. I can't promise it every time. Discussion is part of the meeting, so I can't control that, but what I can look at is the content and how it's prepared to make sure that we're looking to pace this effectively. So that will be shared as well. I did talk to our chair and our vice chair around sharing just some of those ideas where we see some of the work, but ultimately we'll share that out ahead of time so you can get a sense of what's going to happen between now and June. Because the budget cycle has moved up in for Franklin Public Schools, this has allowed us to be really more thoughtful and planful around how we're reporting on goals, because typically in previous years, the goals in the budget were happening simultaneously, and it definitely was a stack. So we're working hard to kind of push this out and model this out for the year, and you can expect more information on that. And we'll continue with that regular business. We'll provide more details as we move forward.
Excellent, thank you. And now, seeing nothing else on the agenda, is there a motion to adjourn the open meeting?
Motion to adjourn.
Second?
Second.
All in favor, signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries.
Somebody can't wait to get out of here.
We are now producing this in collaboration with Franklin TV and Franklin Public Radio. This podcast is my public service effort for Franklin, but we can't do it alone. We can always use your help. How can you help? If you can use the information that you find here, please tell your friends and neighbors. If you don't like something here, please let me know. Through this feedback loop, we can continue to make improvements. And I thank you for listening. For additional information, please visit franklinmatters.org. If you have questions or comments, you can reach me directly at suresteve@gmail.com. The music for the intro and exit was provided by Michael Clark and the group East of Shirley. The piece is titled Ernesto Mañana, copyright Michael Clark and Tintype Tunes in 2008, and used with their permission. I hope you enjoy. By the way, you can also subscribe and listen to Franklin Matters Radio on your favorite podcast app. Search in podcasts for Franklin Matters.